I'm an addict and my name is Tony. Hey, Tony. It's good to be alive and it's good to be here. I'm clean today through God's grace in the program of Narcotics Anonymous. Thank the New Jersey Regional Convention number 9 for inviting me here to speak. I think I went to my first convention in '88, and I wasn't clean then. And I came back the next year in '89, and I had 7 months clean. And I haven't missed the New Jersey Regional Convention since then. This is the first time I'm not staying for the weekend. I'm not in denial about my financial situation. Before I get started, I'd like to share something with y'all that's, it's kind of helped me along. An old man told me this. So he was walking down the street one day, and he walked past this man sitting on a porch with this dog. And as he walked past, he heard the dog moan, woo, woo. And I can't do it like he did. And he turned to the man and he said, "Is that your dog moaning like that?" And he said, "Yep." And he said, "Well, what's wrong with him?" He said, "He's laying on a nail." He said, "Well, why don't he get off?" He said, "It ain't hurt him bad enough yet." The story of my life. I stayed in denial a long time. I just also like to tell y'all that I believe that we, and I say we because the 12th tradition says that, we're all one here. And I believe that we, as recovering people today, have a job to do. Now, whether you accept this job or not, that's a choice that you make. But God is going to use you one way or another when he gets ready anyway. Me, I accept the responsibility of this job. And this job, I believe, is to spread as much and I call it of God's love as we can, because that's what I believe the program of Narcotics Anonymous taught me. The 12 steps and 12 traditions, all the spiritual things we talk about, I believe are God's love, which is the solution to anything that I'm going through. Right? Real simple. It says in the beginning of the basic text, the part that I read, it says that we are in the grip of a hopeless dilemma, the solution of which is spiritual in nature. Therefore, this book, or what we'll deal with today, are spiritual things. I looked up denial in the dictionary because I like to do that. I heard a speaker do that one time. He had a topic and a word and he came out with it. So I got some little paper I pulled out my pocket. I just want y'all to see. I ain't fronting, right? And this is the dictionary's definition of denial. Disbelief in the existence or reality of a thing. Refusal to recognize or acknowledge. I don't want to talk a whole lot about what I used, or how much I used, or who my connections were, but I will tell you, I stayed in denial of the fact that I had a disease for a long time. I was just listening to my friend Usman downstairs, and he was talking about how it works, and what I got out of that was that for a long time, and I totally identified, I was nodding and shaking my head in the front, I didn't know what was wrong with me. When I was, and I was sharing this earlier, when I was a teenager, my father said to me, "You have a serious problem. You can't accept reality. You want to change reality. That's why you stick them needles in your arm all the time. Because you can't face what's really looking at you in the face." Denial. It said, let me see, disbelief in the existence or reality of a thing. I thought for a long time that I had not a moral deficiency, but a mental problem. Because people kept telling me, "You're crazy." Nobody in their right mind does the things that you do time and time and time again. Well, denial runs deep. And I said, the self-centeredness, the core of my disease told me, well, I might be a little crazy, but I can fix this if you leave me alone long enough. Self-centeredness tells me, I know I got a problem, but if you leave me, if I get that right job, if I get that right woman, if I could just move away to the right section of town, I'm going to be all right. If I can just get away, and move, to the other side, I'm going to be all right. I never understood about obsession, about compulsion. I didn't even know what denial was. Denial, I was a child living in denial, even before the substances came into my life. I remember we lived in the projects, and my mom, she had, you know, like me and my brother, right? She was like 19 years old, and she was raising these 2 kids. And nobody had a father where I lived at. No man, it was all women raising these kids. I mean, people had dads, but they didn't live there. And I remember going to school and telling this teacher who was from, I don't know, some kind of suburbia somewhere, and she couldn't understand, well, how come I want you to bring your dad to school? And I was saying, my dad don't live with me, you know. And she said, well, why not? And I told her, well, my father, and I had read this in a book, you know, my father was working overseas. And she said, well, I don't know. And I said, yeah, my father's working. He only come around once a year, you know, because he's working overseas. And I believe this with every core of my being, that, like, I couldn't accept the fact that my father and mother just, you know, wasn't meant to be. And acceptance being the opposite of denial, I couldn't accept it. And so I fabricated a whole story as to who my father was and where he was. And I fed myself this so long that I started to believe this. When I started using the substances at a very early age, you know, my story is like your story. I ain't really got to go into all of that. But I will tell you that I had problems right from the beginning. Right from the beginning. I wasn't one of those guys I wasn't one of those people who gradually eased themselves into the set. You know, I jumped into it with both feet, eyes wide open, and my main mission in life, my goal in life from the outset was more and ways and means to get more. I never was one of those guys that said, well, you know, like, come on, man, let's go catch a buzz or whatever, you know. My whole frame of message was, let's get, you know, that's all I knew how to do. On my 18th birthday, I remember leaving the house, kissing my mother, telling her I'll be back later, I'm going to hang out with some of my friends. And the next time my mother saw me, I was in the hospital, almost dead from an overdose. And I remember about a week after that, my mother saying, look, we're going to send you someplace where they can help you. And I told her I didn't need help, that I was okay, that it was just an accident. I didn't mean to do that much. It was my birthday and I overindulged, but I can handle this. I have a handle on this now, Mom. And I remember talking my mother out of sending me into treatment when I was 18 years old. My mother was no dummy. Shortly after that, she asked me to leave her house. She was not in denial. She knew what I was. She accepted the fact that, you know, your firstborn, your bright, beautiful son has made a decision that he wants to kill himself one day at a time. And she told me, when she let me go, I will not sit here and be a party to this. So I rode on, deep in denial, looking for more, ways and means to get more. In the end, I weighed... I laugh because I'm so healthy now, you know. It wasn't always like this. In the end, I was down to what Ryan H. called using weight. I weighed 137 pounds, man, for real, for real. And I looked like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you know. And I remember my father saying to me, because, you know, my father lived about 6 blocks away from me, but would not see me for up to a year at a time. I was not in denial about the fact that, like, I didn't want to be around my family, and I knew I was an embarrassment to my family. See, denial is funny. It's like, denial is like a cancer or a cavity in my spirituality. Denial is something that I'm aware of for a minute, but I medicate so I don't feel it. Like a toothache will be throbbing. I know I got a hole here, but I put that Ambisol and take me a couple Tylenols and act like it ain't there. So my denial, which was eating at my spirit, which is the core here, which was, I could feel, you know, I was making it be quiet, you know. I knew how to shut the denial or the conscience up. So my dad lived 6 blocks away and wouldn't see me for up to a year at a time. And I remember when I finally came to him and I said, Dad, you know, the denial started to lift forward, just a touch. I said, Dad, you know, I think I might because I'm 33 years old now when I'm going to him. After 17 years, I said, I think I might have a little problem, just a small, I think I might get high a little too much sometimes. And I think I need, I think I need a little bit of help, just a little bit. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, okay, tell me something I don't know. And I believe that when I made the first step, and it talks about this in our literature, when I reached out for the first time to attain some help for this problem I had, that the veil started to lift a little bit. Well, I've been coming around for a little while now. I've been hearing when they asked me to share on denial, I said, well, why me? I really, the only denial I know about is, an active addiction. And I don't want to talk about that, this was about a month ago, right? And I went to my sponsor, because I'm trained like that. Y'all grew me like that. You know how we used to when somebody throw a left hook, you slip. So I'm trained when I have something going on inside of me, I go to my sponsor with it, And my sponsor said, oh, that'd be a good topic for you to share on. He ain't no denial. And then I thought about the relationships that I had cultivated in the years that I had been coming around Narcotics Anonymous. And when I say relationships right now, right for this instance, because we're talking about denial, when I say relationships, I'm talking about male-female relationships, because this was a big area of denial for me when I got here. See, I got to be honest with y'all and tell y'all, and I have no problem sharing this, see, because I did a fourth and a fifth step, that before I had sex for the first time, I shot dope. Before I even knew what intimacy was with a woman, I had a heroin habit. See, so that lets you know right away where my priorities were. So I'm saying that to tell you, I ain't no lover boy. Never have been. But once the dope was gone and the weight got up, how you like me now? Ready for some new denial now. So I waited. I got into a relationship with like 30 days clean. Y'all know the story. I think somebody heard me share that before. The girl had 3 days. I had 30. She was in a detox. And I said, I love you. And, she was just off the street. She said, I love you. And we stayed together for 2 years, and we stayed clean, and we both brought a lot of garbage to the table because neither one of us took time to do any research on self. Neither one of us took any time to build a relationship with God. And I'm getting to a point here. And when the relationship ended, because you know what happened. She kicked me to the curb, man, for a dude with like 2 weeks clean. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do. And my world was crushed, and I used that time, and I said to myself, I remember saying, I will never do this again. The denial runs deep. I will never do this again. And I proceeded to go around the room, and I'm not proud of this, but I've written about it, and I've prayed about it, and I'm doing something about it today so I can talk about it. I ain't gonna just talk about it when I ain't doing nothing about it. I wouldn't front on y'all like that. I wouldn't front on me like that. What I'm trying to say is, I went around the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, living out all the fantasies that I always wanted to live when I was on the street. Well, I ain't got no dope now. Got me a couple dollars. Got a couple years under my belt. Got me a car. Look out, newcomers, here I come. Yo, baby, how you doing? Yeah, I know that was some good shit I shared in the meeting, I'm gonna go to Kentucky Fried, I'll show you how this thing works. And I proceeded to, what did they call it then? I proceeded to get in and out. I was in multiple relationships, they called it. They was in denial too. I was hoeing, and it's just that simple. I'm telling y'all I got a little better with this, so I can talk about me now. I have no problem talking about me. And I went through this, man, and I noticed that I was using people like I use narcotics. You see, I liked you for a minute. I got the rush, and then when it was over, I threw the bags away. I cleaned the cooker, I cleaned the works, I wiped up, and I went on about my business. And the same thing happened in the relationships. When the thrill was gone, see you, wouldn't want to be you. Call your sponsor, you need some help, make a meeting, I'll talk to you, you know. There's a price to pay for that. See, I was in denial about, oh, I ain't hurting nobody. This is my justification. She grown. She got a sponsor. She got a program. What's wrong with you? No. I've been here for a few years. I worked some steps. I had an obligation to God, to myself, and to the fellowship not to block nobody from getting this thing. Well, how was I living? Oh, I could come in a meeting and talk about spirituality because we're dealing with spiritual things now, but how you living, G? How you living? I was slimy, man, and didn't want y'all to know. It'd be all right for me to come up here and profess to be this, that, or the other. Let's talk about how deep this denial thing runs. I come in here and tell you how I'm living this, how I'm working that, how I'm praying, and go outside the door and go, yo, what's up, girl? 2 weeks? Yeah, well, come here, let me show you how this thing works. You got a sponsor? You know. Oh, we can sponsor each other, you know. Hey, come on, man. Come on, man. And the thing about this denial, like I was trying to get to before, is that there's a price to pay for this. I met this one sister. What she got, boy, look. Man makes plans, but God is the best of planners. I met this girl. She came in the rooms. She stepped to me after the meeting. You know, we like that when somebody come to us. And my self-esteem was here, so when somebody come to me, it just sting. Yeah, ease God right out. That's it. So Shorty stepped to me, and she said, yo, brother, you know, I like what you shared in the meeting. I said, well, you know, I'm working this. You know, I'm living good. Me and this woman got together, and I believe this was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. She turned her will and her life over to the care of me. I know it was the worst thing that could happen to her. I believe today it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. Because you see, I became, in my own mind, higher power. I told this woman, I taught her how to pray. I taught her what to call God. I taught her who to pray, when to pray. I told her what to eat, how to dress, who to go. And you know what she said? Yes, Daddy. She said, you the man, baby. You the man. That's all I needed to hear. Come on, let me give you some more. Get that one to be your sponsor. Don't talk to them because they ain't about nothing. All right? Don't go to that meeting because they drunk around there. You go where I tell you to go and do what I tell you to do. And she said, okay. I turned my will and my life over to the care of you. And when she got high, I was messed up.
That's right.
And I said, why am I feeling so crazy? She the one that's using. I didn't even care about the pain she might have been going through, but she was supposed to be representing me, see? And my sponsor, I went, you know, once again, you know how we get beat up and I put the tail between my legs and I go see my sponsor, man. You know, man, that gal got high. He said, what's wrong, man? I said, well, I beat her up, man. I took her to a detox, man. You know what I'm saying? He said, well, what's the matter? I said, I don't know, man. She messed me up, man. My heart, man. You know what I'm saying? He said, get honest.
That's right.
Get out of denial.
Yeah.
Right.
You only hurting because she was representing you. Now she making you look bad. You don't even care about her. You're so self-centered, you don't care about the pain she's in. All you care about is what people gonna say about you now.
That's right.
I'm telling you all this to tell you that I had to come up. See, I had to come. You know how we say it in the second step. I had to come to, then I had to come to believe.
That's right.
It took a while. That denial was still deep because when she got a little bit, she got better, you know, I called her again. Come here, girl. You ready this time? You really ready this time? She said, I'm ready. I said, well, I don't care what nobody say. We gonna do this again.
That's right.
And she got high again. This time she stole all my shit, you know.
It get worse.
I was still in denial. I thought I could still play God. After all the pain and the insanity and the madness, I thought I could still be a God in this person's life because I had it like that. I was sharing at conventions. People would pat me on the back. I was doing step work with my sponsees. wasn't living nothing. Fronting.
That's right. There you
Because I was still in denial about being powerlessness. Needless to say, y'all, denial taught me some very important lessons. I don't say this to hurt anyone. I'm just sharing my experience. What comes out my mouth ain't no prayer book. This is all I got. It's just my experience.
That's right.
Just one addict's experience. A lot of women today in my area wonder why I don't hug them after the meetings. They wonder why, well, how come brother don't call us? The brother don't come to the dances no more.
That's
if he
right.
do, he's selling sodas.
That's right.
Look, I'm not in denial about what I'm capable of doing. If you're new or just coming back, get with somebody that's going to help you right. Because I'm not in denial about what I'm capable of doing today without the proper direction, man. And a lot of days, I hear people saying this. I used to get mad when people sharing the meeting, well, I'm just clean today, I ain't recovering. I know what they talking about now.
That's right.
I'm telling you, man. It says denial is refusal to recognize or acknowledge. I'm not refusing to recognize that part of me any longer. I know it's meant to me, it's meant for me today to live alone. I ain't got no problems with that. I have no problems with that. I know it's meant for me today to continue to do what I'm doing. You know, I'm a writer now, right? Some of my friends know I had a couple stories published, and it's only through God's grace and some hard work on my part and some willingness, man. Yeah, you believe? I come from 125th and Laundromat. Now I'm writing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Clap for God. And the first story that I wrote that was published was called Love's Denial. And it wasn't about the love between a man and a woman. It was about love and how a lot of us love so hard and so much that we won't see the forest for the trees. You know, my grandmother, my grandmother is a good Christian woman. I mean, she was, I think she was born a Christian, and she ain't never did nothing. Now, all she ever talked about in her life was Jesus, which is all right. You know, that's, you know. And I remember my grandmother, I remember living on my grandmother's couch because everybody else would just like, and I'm 30 years old, and I'm living on my grandmother's couch with my daughter there. We just moved in on grandmom after Pop-Pop left, you know. And I remember my grandmother getting all the mothers and the sisters in the church and having a little prayer over me to try to take the taste out my mouth, they said. They want to pray, and they laid hands on me and talked in tongues and everything. And I remember, and I'm telling you all this because I'm telling you how deep the denial of love can go. And I remember my grandmother, because she loved me so much, her first grandson, you know, she said, we're going to help this boy. You know, and they laid hands on me, and they was and all of this, that, and the other, and I'm crying because I'm scared. I don't really know what's going on, you know. And I'm crying, and I'm begging for help. And I remember getting up the same day and saying, oh, Grandma, thank y'all so much. Can I have $20, please? You know. And my grandmother giving it to me. I remember the only person, see, in the end, I have no denial about my disease. When I was using, I wasn't no player. You know what I'm saying? I was sick more than I was high most of the time. I was in trouble more than I was on the block running things. You know, I had a little job sometime, and I'd be in power for an hour maybe. You know what I mean? Once the paycheck ran out, I was just like the next jokers, you know. And I remember every time I got sick, the only person that I could go to and get money from was my grandma, because she hated to see me sick. And I'm telling y'all, her love was so strong, the denial ran so deep, she could not see. She refused to, look, this is the definition now. She refused to recognize or acknowledge the fact that this boy is sick and he's going to stay sick as long as you keep giving him that money. So the first story that I wrote about, the first thing that I got published was Love's Denial. It was about my grandmother and how she refused to see. And you know what she said? Well, not she said, but in the story, the old lady says, well, look, I seen what I seen. I know what y'all talking about, because people were saying, well, your grandkids did this. And she said, I seen what I seen, and I seen what I seen, and it's all right, but I can't stop loving my babies anyway. I got to love them anyway. Love and the denial, hand in hand, sometimes is not real good for me, though. And that's why I need other people around to see me and feel, you know, to see, because I can't see me all the time. And I need David to say, well, Tony, look, man, that's not good for you, brother. I see you going through these changes, man. Things ain't working in your life. Don't go to her and tell her, you know, Tony, he gonna get high. Don't tell her that. Tell me, please. I hate that when my friends relapse and I say, well, you know, man, I'm jammed up, so-and-so picked up. Man, I knew that thing was going to get high. Well, if you knew, why ain't you tell him? Who's in denial here?
Go ahead.
I don't mean to get all, you know, I was listening to Usman and the other sisters downstairs, and I got a little worked up. Excuse me, I said I was going to be calm today. Man makes plans, but God is the best of planners. Use me. That's all I got to say. And so what I want to say about this denial thing and how I believe this is a good topic for all of us, for me anyway. You know, that love that I have sometimes, because I believe when my spirit was awakened, I developed the ability to love myself because I started loving the things that was happening to me, that God was making happen to me. I knew there was no accidents. And I developed the ability to love other human beings. And a lot of times, man, that love won't let me see what's going on. I know I got to love you, but if I really love you, then I got to get out of denial too. And I got to say sometimes I'm not the one that maybe can help you.
That's right.
I'm not the one. I had a partner, man, he in jail for bank robbery now. I was the best man at his wedding when we had 2 years clean, and he picked up on his wedding day, and a year later he stuck up a bank. They had him in the paper, called him the dumbest bank robber in the world, but that's another story. Anyway, I remember when this brother was struggling after he had picked up the first time, and he wanted to get clean, man, and I said, I'm going to help my boy. I don't care. People were saying, man, let that brother be. I ain't trying to hear that. I love him. It's my boy. I'm going to help him. I went up in the projects. Look, by myself, denial just get you killed.
Yes, it will.
Pulled him up out the hit house like Superman, took him to a meeting, and set him down in there. And the brother started, it was a sister sharing earlier about tough love. And the brother started giving it to him. Pa-da-da-da-da. You know how we can be sometimes. We can be vicious with our recovery sometimes. You know, man, you come in here, yeah, the coke is going, the money going, now here you come. You know, you better get this and you better do that. And I got mad. And I said, how dare y'all? How dare y'all talk to him like that? Forgetting all about the fifth tradition saying that the group is the best vehicle for carrying the message. Forgetting that all I had to do was bring him and let him sit there and let God take over. I want to tell you how you're supposed to give it to him now. Thank you, because I love him so much. I love him so much. Yeah, and he listened to me and not to them, and he went and robbed a bank. 40 years old, doing 20 to life. If I'm not careful, I kill myself. If I'm not careful, I won't carry the message. I'll carry the mess. I'll do more harm than good. See, we know about the denial of active addiction. Look, I've been blessed now. I work in a treatment facility now. I don't even like to call it a treatment facility. It's a methadone clinic. And I'm telling y'all, I'm blessed to be there because, see, I've been on the other side of that line. I don't know how many of y'all used to go get that drink in the morning, but I've been there. And begging for the take-home bottles. Couldn't never just get enough clean time, though. My urines was always hot. I don't know if something was wrong. Anyway, I work in a methadone clinic today. Methadone clinic today. And that's this clinic's main function is to give this juice to these people. And it's all about money. It ain't about getting better. It's about how much you can pay, you can drink. You can't pay, see you. And it's rough for me because to the people I work with, the people that come there are just clients or patients or them people.
That's right.
But to me, they're addicts, and addicts are close to my heart because I love that which is me. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know if anybody else in there recovering. Everybody else got PhDs and all that, and I'm just a recovering dude that, you know, go in the bathroom with the guys and make sure don't nobody rob the joint, you know. And I realized today, man, I see denial. What I'm trying to say is I see denial on a daily basis. I see denial on a daily basis, but I cannot, and it's not my job to tell someone all the time that they're in denial about a certain issue. You know, this is nothing sometimes. It's how I live that speaks louder than anything else. You see, I was at a meeting the other day, and I'm hitting this again one more time because I want to let y'all know that there are certain things in my life I'm not in denial about. See, I don't do those things that I used to do. After the meeting the other night, we went to a meeting in a treatment facility last night, and after the meeting, you know, I was like kind of like off to the side. You know, I was sharing this with some people earlier, and a couple of my friends came up and they like, yo, man, what you isolating and shit? I said, look, it ain't nothing out here. It was a bunch of women there, all newcomers from some halfway house or something, standing out there talking and shit. I'm waiting for my brother. I'm not talking to them sisters. I speak to them, you know, but I'm not getting up on them. You know, well, what's wrong? You don't hug nobody? Look, you be a whole lot better off if you stayed over there with them women you knew and left me alone. Because, see, I know, like I said, I'm not in denial now about that. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know the harm. Man, anybody in here that's got more than 4 years clean, 3 or 4 years clean, we know the harm we can do to people, men and women. I can't speak for the sisters too much because I'm a man, you know, always been one, you know what I'm saying? But we know the harm that we can do. We know what we're capable of. A good friend of mine was with me last night, man, and he wonders, you know, he wrestles sometime. He meet a sister, man, and right away he like just all in, you know, oh man, that's the one, man, this my girl, man, you know, we gonna do, you just met this girl, man, come on, you know, and she only got 30 days, man, you got 3 years clean, man, give yourself a break, cuz I'm just telling you, my experience, man, is trouble. It's trouble. I'm not saying it don't work, but it's trouble for me. It's trouble for me because I'm just so manipulative and my ego is so inflated sometimes and my self-esteem is so low sometimes that I'll use you to make me feel good. And then after you can't do that no more, you know, what is this? This is not where I want to be. You know, but and a sister told me the other day, she said, you know, you never consider anybody else's feelings about anything. Man, that hurt me. Oh, man, that hurt. It's like, you know how you watch that shit on TV? You think, you know, well, that's a script. Somebody wrote that shit in, like All My Children or something like that. You know, well, you never considered anybody else's feelings. And you be like, oh, that was deep. But then when she said that to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, flip, hey, we ain't supposed to talk like this. What you mean, you know? You never consider anybody else's feelings. Do you know what it's like to be sitting at home waiting for somebody to call me when they said they was gonna call and then they don't? And then and I'm in the breeze like, I said, man, that shit don't make no difference to me. Never considering anything. Denial, refusal to recognize or acknowledge that you might care about me a little bit. And I have an obligation to you now because you do care about me to be where I'm going to say where I'm going to be and call when I say when I'm going to call and bring my ass home when it's supposed to be coming. Man, look. Scary. It's like a jungle sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in denial about that anymore. I know that the only way that I came up out of the denial in this particular issue in my life was through pain first. Pain first. You know, I like that dog laying on that nail. I ain't moved till it hurt me bad enough. And when it hurt, oh shit, that's enough of this. You know, because a lot of days I would go back, I knew it was pain, I would sit on the nail anyway. It don't hurt that bad, it's just a little uncomfortable. You know, it's just, well, I can stand it for a little while longer because it just feels so good sometimes. Man, look. I let it go. It was pain first, and acceptance came second. The steps in Narcotics Anonymous are the healing factor that I've always looked for. I was listening to my brother Usman downstairs say he was always looking for it. And I know today that we need to learn how to live in the solution, you see, and not always talk about the problem. That's why I'm trying to share with y'all, you know, like I've been through that, man, and I'm on the other side now. And the solution for me, just for the day, is just like, look, step to the side. Step to the side. Let whatever's gonna happen, happen. You just get out the way. Because see, once I get up on you and start doing this, I'm putting my will in.
That's right.
You know, I'm the type of brother, I don't know if anybody in here can ID, when I hug you, I've been lifting, I put the, I tense up so you can feel that I'm kind of hard, and I hug you, and I rub your back and say, how you doing today? You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying, the moves. You know, the moves, man, and just for the day, man, I don't do that.
That's right. All right.
I don't do that. If I know you, I ain't got no problems. You know me, you know, hey, you know me. You be like, yeah, okay, bro, back up. You know, I know you. I heard you share, you know, this you know. So I don't put myself in situations. Brother was talking about it downstairs. I don't line myself up so I can, you know, so I can get one. You know what I'm saying? You know, I did 18 months in a federal penitentiary, man, and it was a lot of men in there. It was all men in there.
Sure.
And sometimes if you put yourself in the wrong position, you get got. You know what I'm saying? You get got. It was only certain people you could sleep around and do so. You get got. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not putting myself in the position to get got today. You know, I'm not trying to get got.
That's right.
You know, I'm trying to stay out the way and let other things happen. You know, and I'm gonna share this, man, because I'm getting it. Well, I'm all right. When I first got clean, I was in a car accident, and I had a compound fracture of the knee. Messed me up pretty bad. 2 years later, I was shot twice. And the doctors told me that I would never be able to walk again. I fooled them. Got some good dope and started bouncing around. And I lived in this fantasy that, like, well, I got to be sharper now than I was, because cats gonna think I'm a Vic now, and they really gonna step to me hard, and I got to come correct. You know, I got to, how the young boy said it, I got to represent, you know. And I'm running in Brooklyn, man, and I'm doing things, and I'm barely making, but I'm getting around, because I'm in denial about really how my physical situation, but, you know, a bag of dope and a rusty 22 would give you instant heart. That don't even work. If somebody had to force me, I'd have shot myself. So when I got clean, I was living in this like detox halfway house place. I wanted to play basketball with these guys, you know, and I'm 33 years old, used narcotics for over 20 years, got more scars and broken bones and bullet holes than you can shake a stick at, but I'm saying I'm gonna get out here and play some ball with these kids, you know what I mean? And I wondered why, after about a half hour, no, let me stop lying. After about 10 minutes, I was like, y'all go ahead, man. What's wrong, Tone? Nothing, man. I'm just a little tired, man. Work, you know. Y'all go ahead, you know. In denial about my physical condition. You know, my stomach was getting a little bigger, you know, and the girls was calling, hey, the overweight lover in the house, you know, and all this shit. And I'm still walking around like I'm 137, you know what I mean? Denial was about to kill me. Acceptance of who I am, and what I'm about was the solution to pull me up out of all of that insanity. Pull me up out of all of that insanity. I'm no longer in denial about the fact that, like, you know, because I thought once I got clean too that I was supposed to have a job making, I thought, you know, $30,000 a year was a reasonable sum for anybody that's working. You know, that's and so I looked for jobs that paid $30,000 a year, and they said, well, do you have a degree? I said, no, but I know a lot of shit. What do you need from me? What do you want me to do? They said, well, let me see your resume. I can fill out an application. They said, well, no, we want someone with a PhD. Now they racist. You know, they don't like me because I'm black. No, you don't have no degree. The job calls for a degree, and it's just that simple. Get out of denial, Tony. Take your ass back to school if you want a $30,000 job. And I'm saying, well, God is going to bless me because he know, man, look. God said, you could go to school.
That's right.
I'm only going to do for you what you can't do for yourself. You want a degree? Take your ass to school and get one. I started writing a couple of years ago because what happened was I was in treatment, and I was writing my mother letters on a daily basis because that's the only person that would take anything from me. And when I got out of treatment, my mother told me that she had started showing my letters to her co-workers. think one of them's in here now. Anyway, I said, this is real personal stuff, Mom. You know, like, how could you, like, open me up like that in front of strangers? And she said, Tony, she said, your letters moved me so much, I had to share them with somebody. She said that God blesses all of us with different things. And she said, you were blessed with the ability to communicate your feelings. She said, son, don't play past your blessings. That's what you done all your life. You looked at all your negative faults and you thought they was positive things, and you uplifted the negative and you shot the positive down. See, when I was a little boy, and I'm getting to a point here, but when I was a little boy, I was the one kid on the block, man, that, like, when birds got hurt, or when dogs, or when like, if you busted your nose on the playground, I was always the first one to go get a piece of ice or a tissue or something, or when the little kids would get beat up by the big kids, I would help them home, you know. And that was a positive attribute, man. That was caring, compassion about people. But when I was growing up, man, the circle we were swinging in, you couldn't show that, you know, so I had to bury that deep down inside, man, and I sloughed that off, and it became a denial of the good things about me and an upliftment of the bad things about me. You know, so when my mother told me this thing about the letters, you know, I said, well, yeah, Ma, all right, but don't do that, man. What can I do with this? She said, son, communicate with people. Give something away. You know what I mean? And she said, you just keep writing, man, and who knows what's going to happen for you one day. And I pushed that off. You know, I'm like, man, lady, for that, I need me a job, man, you know. And today I'm recognizing, man, that there are some things that I have and some things that I'm able to do. And I'm not hiding that anymore. I'm not in denial about the fact that, yes, I do care about people. Yes, I did cry when I watched South Central the other night, you know, and I ain't scared to tell y'all, when give me my son, I was crying, you know what I'm saying? And that's all right, because I'm all right with it, and I don't care, because the third tradition say that only requirement for membership is desire not to use, so I don't care. You can't judge me no more. So I'm going to tell you, yeah, I cried in South Central, and everybody was like, and I was crying because it got to me, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, I care about the addicts on my job, even though it's all about dollars and cents. If you work in treatment, you know that, but I care about them anyway, and I don't care. And I'm gonna keep writing anyway, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This guy on my job, he say, well, what do you want to get out of this writing stuff? You know, and he figured because he a PhD from Harvard, that's how he says it, Harvard. You know, that, like, first thing I'm gonna say was, well, shit, man, I want me a Benz, man, you know. And I said, man, I want to help my people and communicate, man, some of these feelings I got inside, so maybe somebody don't have to go through this no more. That's right. Well, Jesus Christ, you know. Man, I'm not in denial about who I am, what I have. I have a disease that'll tell me after a couple of years, a few years around here, it's Thursday night, you don't need to make that commitment. Somebody do it. You know what I mean? And if I keep playing that too long, denial will set in. See, denial is a symptom of the disease of addiction. Like if you get the chicken pox and you break out in them spots, they symptoms, right? If you got a cold, you got a runny nose, you sneeze, that's a symptom. So when I got the disease, I'm telling you already about, I'm in denial of certain things in my life because it's a symptom of my disease. And if I don't address that, if I don't acknowledge that, if I don't recognize that, remember this, if I don't acknowledge that, if I don't recognize that, guess what's going to happen to me? I'm going to be the monkey sitting in treatment if I'm blessed with 8 years behind me saying, well, I forgot. I was in denial, but I'm not now. You damn near dead. You ain't in denial now. So when my thinking starts telling me that I can just listen to it again, and I don't need anyone else, I don't need prayer, I don't need brothers, I don't need fellowship, I don't need meetings, that's when I get up and go. I believe, and yeah, we is getting over here, I believe that in early recovery, the key to any spiritual things that I was able to attain, any spirituality that any level that I was able to reach, any acknowledgement, any awareness came as a direct result of service work. And by service work, I'm not necessarily talking about H&I or PI or you know, whatever. I'm talking about just taking that extra 5 minutes out to talk to that boy who just came in the door. I'm talking about staying on the phone a half hour, even when Columbo's on, because I love Columbo, even when Columbo is on, to just listen to this boy talk about the insanity of his life. And even though you know it's crazy, and he knew when he right where he's supposed to be, he just wants you to listen anyway. And so God told you, you got a job to do, so you got to listen anyway. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I don't know, man. Denial is still a part of a lot of our lives. I know it's still a part of mine on any given day, man, because I refuse to acknowledge a lot of things that's staring me right in the face. But I'm here to bear witness, man, and tell y'all that I'm not where I used to be.
That's right.
That awareness, steps, you people have helped me get away from a lot of that. A lot of that. It's always going to be a part of my life because it's a symptom of the disease. If I can come in here, oh, I ain't in denial about nothing, what the hell am I doing here? I'm well now. Don't need you no more. I ain't in denial about nothing. That means all of a sudden I don't have the disease no more. See ya. Published. And I had sent the first one off to, I don't know if I can say, I sent it off to this national black women's magazine. I ain't gonna mention the name of it. They was having a short story contest. And I sent this off. Now, mind you, I've never taken a creative writing course in my life. I barely went to school when I was supposed to go. So I never, you know, my education, I'm from Sidewalk University. with a bachelor's degree from the School of Hard Knocks. So, but I sent this off because I'm feeling good about myself. You know what I mean? And I said, well, shit, if I can take the time to write it, they can read it, damn it. And I told everybody, yeah, I sent the story off in the magazine, and they're going, and it's $2,000 first prize, and my shit get published with my name and everything, and I'm waiting for the check in the mail. That was about 6 months ago. Well, the magazine came out just this month with all the results of the stories and everything, and mine wasn't in there. And I said, oh, and I looked at the winners of the contest, and they was all women. And I said, oh, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm telling y'all, denial runs deep. That's what it is. It's a woman thing. I know mine was good enough. No, you know what my story was good enough for? It was good enough for me to write some more. It was good enough to give me the heart and the courage to send some more off to different places. It was good enough, just good enough for me to have a little bit more belief in God and myself.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Denial pops up every single day. I try to acknowledge it, I try to be aware of it, and I try to grow and move on from it. Thanks for letting me share. I didn't want to look at what denial was, man. I was afraid to find out what I was going to find out. And mine started when I was a kid, too. It wasn't a drug. I was in denial. I lived in an illusion. My whole life was an illusion. I thought I was David Copperfield. You know what I'm saying? Instead of Nate. I wasn't Nate. I lived in an illusion, man. And as a result of, trying to hang in there one day at a time and learn out what this thing was about, I found out it's not, my life don't have to be an illusion. I can live like earthly people a little bit, and I come here, this is my third convention, and this was the first one right here, and this year I did something, I enjoyed myself. I came down here by myself, lady free. I like to think I'm a lover too, but I wasn't a lover when I was out there. That other shit pimped me. I don't tell you what it was. You don't know? But I went to Weekway Park over here in Canada. Never even heard of it until I heard it on the radio. Took a risk and went there. I enjoyed the few minutes I was there, because I've never done that. When I went to the park in the past, it was to get something. I was on that mission.
And I'm not on that today. And, you know, I don't know that much about spirituality because I haven't been here that long. But I like to think I have acquired a little bit of that because I have some direction today. You know, I go to work. That's direction enough to start with. I never did that. You know, and the man used to tell me, Nate, you got a problem. Oh, I'm back to work today. That's good enough for me. But he was trying to tell me, you know, to come to work. I didn't want to hear that. And I just had to share that. I wanted to say more, but maybe I ain't meant to say that.
It's all right.
I lost it. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing, Nate.
Hi everybody, my name's Carol. I'm an addict.
Hey, Bill.
Thanks for sharing. I really loved your story. And one of the things you said about denial was really important to me was when you were talking about pushing people away and wanting to be nice and not being able to show it, and that judgment, you know, all that stuff is part of my denial that keeps me from being in a state of anonymity that these principles teach me to be in. You know, because when I'm not in that denial that I'm better than you, or I'm less than you, or I'm whiter than you, or I'm prettier than you, or I'm older than you, or I'm dumber than you, or I'm smarter than you, or I'm different than you in some other way, when I'm not in that denial, then I have to be in the state of anonymity that the principles tell me I'm in, that I'm you, that I'm one with you, that you and I are the same, you know, that we're both God's children, we're the same. And when I'm not in that denial, then I have to be nice to you, and I have to love you, and I can't push you away anymore. And that's what it's hard to deal with. To be with you. And I think that's what we're afraid of. And that's our denial. And I think that we create, or God creates, all the situations, like all the hell that we've gone through and still go through, is created so that we can get through that denial and be with each other. You know, when you were talking about, like, the first time you didn't get it and you had to go back for more with, like, more newcomers and more newcomers, until the pain gets so great, you can't stay in the denial anymore. And that's what God does for us in this life is, you know, He creates these situations where we have to confront the reality and learn the lesson so that we can grow spiritually, so that we can come back and see our oneness, and so that we can love each other. And that's what recovery has given me, is that ability to see my denial and love you and not judge you sometimes. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing. Hi, his name Rusty. Hey, bro, I named Rusty Little Family. First, thank God for
This sitting here kind of reminds me of Perry Mason. You thought that too, huh? Thank God I'm sitting out here like this. But I'd like to first thank God for another day clean in the fellowship, and thank you all for loving me and showing me that love by being here. Tony, thanks for being in service. You also. It's amazing. I think I saw you in Trenton on the telephone yesterday about 3:30. It was you, right? Okay, great. And I said, oh, that's Tony T. And the newcomer I was with at that time, he says, from the fellowship? That's the man. And now I come here and God's got you working. He's mighty, wonderful. Yeah, man, you touched on so many wonderful things, but the one thing that you touched on that gave me some reassurance or confirmation, again, that I'm not unique, is when you talked about the situations with the young ladies. You know, are no longer in denial of what you're capable of doing in that situation. Somebody not in the fellowship brought that to my attention. I was telling this young lady who's in my life that, kind of had some aspirations for another young lady that's in the fellowship that is in my home group, who happened to be new to the fellowship. And she told me I was setting myself up, and I said, no, I'm not. I'll be all right. Sure enough, I set myself up and I got. And I said, all right, well, I know the mistake I made, but I need not do it again, but I can stay in that home group. And going there and like white knuckling, I can't turn around, I can't look at her, I know she's there, having to live like that. And as hard as it was for me, what I ended up having to do was change home groups. And everyone in that home group, I mean, just to feel people love you like your grandmother loved you, they wanted me to stay there. And I was torn between accepting what my disease brought with it and denial that I could handle it. I can manage this. That's what I kept telling myself. But the pain of trying to be in the cop house and not use was outweighing, it was outweighing my ability to manage it, because I was unmanageable in my home room. And I came to realize that I knew God brought me this far. I could leave this home group, find another home group, and God would still give me the same blessings and probably more. Because in actuality, what happened was when I moved on and got to another home group, I found that I was needed to be of service to that home group so the doors could stay open there. It gave me an opportunity. You talked about, you found this by staying in service and giving back and staying on that phone a couple extra minutes. Didn't God put me in a home group with 4 other members that now they dwindle down to just me and one other guy? But it's our responsibility to keep that doors open so other God's children can come through. In the process, I've grown to the point where I see the blessing now in having worked through the storm, because it was a storm while I was in that home group. But accepting that part of my disease gave me a blessing. You talked about these things being bricks for the foundation. And I know that God's preparing me for something else, but had I not gotten that part just for the day of that denial taken care of, it wouldn't allow me for the next chore that he's got in store for me. So I realized he's preparing me in every issue, like Tara, the young lady just shared, was talking about. He's preparing us for something else. And I thank God that today I can see those things, and I can only see them because you're telling me about them. Because I have the ability, by continuing to come back here, and I get honest and share with somebody what's going on, they can let me see or help me see what I'm not able to see. Because as far as the committee, they tell me, Russ, you can handle it. Russ, don't go anywhere, you're all right. The committee is saying this. The committee said I'm all right. Should I stay here? That's what I got to do. I got to bounce this off of somebody else. Because I listen to the committee like I did all my life. And every time I listened to the committee, I was in the pain of doing what I wanted to do, what I decided not to do anyway. Because the same way when I walked down that street to go to the cop man, time and time again, I did not want to go, but the committee said go. Powerless. I talked about, I can handle this thing in this group with this girl. Couldn't do it, as much as I tried. Y'all said I didn't have to live that way I used to live. And with your help, I don't live that way today. So I'm going to continue to come back, and y'all can continue to give me help in seeing the things that today I think I'm all right with and loving in denial with. Thank you, Tony. I love you. God bless you. Congratulations. Keep writing, brother. All right. Thanks for allowing me to share.
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm an addict. I want to thank you for sharing. That was amazing. I knew I needed to come to this meeting. I didn't want to, because that was my denial. You don't need to go to the denial meeting. Come on now. But I knew I had to get here, and I'm glad I did. I like still struggle with it every day, even about just using the denial, like that maybe I can, because I'm really young. I'm only 16, and I'm in these rooms, and you know, every night I'm at a meeting. This is my second convention. You know, I'm trying really hard, but it's really hard when I look around, and there aren't a lot of people that I can really relate to. So then I'll be thinking, well, you don't need to be here. You ain't like them. But I am. I'm just younger than y'all. But I can say that now. Catch me in about an hour, I might be saying something different. I don't know. But it's hard for me a lot of times because my addiction talks to me every minute of every day. I could be in a meeting, it'll be talking to me. You don't need to be here. What are you doing here? Because I see people every day that I go to school with. Now I don't go to school because I can't even stay in school and stay clean. And right now that's what I have to do, is stay clean first and foremost. School's always going to be there. But I could be dead if I stay in school now and go back and use. I could be dead by the time I get to learning anything.
Sure.
But I look around and everybody my age, either they're not getting high and they never did, they don't know nothing about drugs, or they're getting high and it seems like they're doing all right. I mean, if I think about it, I know they're not doing all right. I know how I was when I was going to school getting fucked up. It wasn't working. But still, it be talking to me like, you're 16 years old. You never stuck no needles in your arms. You never did a lot of things. But I know deep inside myself that if I go back out there, all my I nevers are going to come true. Denial just be kicking me in the butt. So I really needed to hear what you had to say, all of it. This is like, you're like the one person that spoke that half the time I wasn't going, is he done yet? You kept me like up and paying attention. Except when that little boy was trying to steal my pocketbook. That was the only time I wasn't paying attention. I guess that was powerlessness because I seen it and he didn't go nowhere with it, but I couldn't control it for trying to take it. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. I just really wanted to thank you for sharing. I got a lot out of it. That's all I got.
Thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Thanks for sharing, Tony. I love you. Glad to be here. Thanks for being in service, Jimmy. You said a lot of good things about denial, and I see how it's a real symptom of this disease because it blinds me from a lot of stuff that I really have to get in touch with. And the disease being spiritual, I have to combat this disease with some spiritual principles. I have to do the same thing with my denial. A lot of the times, of course, when I was active, I couldn't see anything with it because I'm inside of it. As long as I'm inside of my denial or inside of my disease, I can't see what's going on. I have to step outside of it somehow and look back on it. I can now see some of the stuff that was going on in my life before, but what's going on in my life now, I have to bounce off of you people or get with my sponsor and practice a little bit of that open-mindedness and honesty. Because there's some things going on in my life right now that you know, people are stepping to me and talking about, but when I'm in it, I can't really see it. I'm refusing to accept it. When I'm in it, I don't see it. I'm not looking at myself in a mirror. I need your eyes and your ears to tell me what I'm doing, because a lot of times I don't see it. I'm caught up in it. It seems to be okay. I'm rationalizing and I'm justifying, and I don't even know I'm doing that sometimes. So coming to meetings like this where I hear a message delivered this way is really good for me, because it allows me to sit back and say, you know, okay, a couple of these things are happening to me. Hey, Spons, what's going on with this? You know, I heard a couple of these things, and you know, I'm getting caught up with some of this stuff in relationships, and I was in this relationship meeting, and am I doing this stuff? What do you think? You know, and I open up my mind, and I take some suggestions, and I follow through on some of these suggestions, and I avoid a little bit of pain. Or, at least when it comes up, as long as if a problem or something is brought up in my life, it's no longer in denial. It's either live with it and be in pain, or maybe you can work through it and do something about it. And that's all I got to share. Thanks for sharing.
Hi, my name is Ann. I'm a resuscitated addict. And everywhere I go, people say, what's resuscitated? And I say resuscitated through the amazing grace of God to care of these rooms. I was brought back to life. And this is my first convention, and I'm from Norfolk, Virginia.
Welcome to New Jersey.
Thank you. And I'm a little nervous, you know. I've been clean for about 3 years. Well, a little more than 3 years and whatnot. And I never had a chance to go on a convention. You know, the first time I had a chance, something came up. I felt like I was juked, but hey, you know, I had to accept it, you know. I was listening to you, and what you were speaking on just reminded me so much when I was out there, you know. I was in so much denial. I thought I was fine, and I was just like this big, poof old afro, crushed in the eyes, funk under the arms, and thought I was the finest thing to walk the streets. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, I look back at those days, I'm like, damn, if I looked at it, I was ugly. You know, you jilly, you glee, you know what I mean? You go ugly, you know what I mean? And I stank at that, you know? So I'm like, man, I was in big time denial, thinking I was, oh, girl, But I mean, I ain't in denial now because I done picked up a whole bunch of weight. I picked up some of my neighbor's weight, you know, my family's weight. I got weight I could just want to just give away, you know? I wish I could just throw it to somebody, you know? But denial for me, it's like, I don't even understand what's going on with me these days. I'm in this strange funk, I guess, you know. I don't understand what it is. I think I'm just PMSing, though, you know, just being a bitch. I won't go there, but y'all, you women know what I mean. And y'all go through it once a month too somehow. But anyway, right? When I was using, it was crazy, you know. It was like I couldn't stop myself when I wanted to stop myself, you know. I went from prostituting to robbing, you know, and never got caught, thank God, you know. And I was what you call, had the gift of gab. I could con you out your eyebrows and you wouldn't even know they were gone, you know. But I thank God for allowing me to go through that to get to where I'm at now, you know, because where I'm at now is where I'm supposed to be and where I need to be. It's also more that I want to be here, you know. For me, God has done everything for me. I didn't do any of this, nothing, you know. All I did was just allow myself to allow him to come into my life, you know, instead of me just doing what I felt like doing, you know. When I was in school, honey, one time I saw schools where I read it in the newspaper, saw the word in the dictionary maybe, you know. And I was like, you know, I had a friend would write notes for me to get me out of school, you know. And I'll just stay around there and get zooted, go home and mama, how was school? Oh, fine. I had to go in the room and fall out, you know what I mean? You know, and I thought that was cool, you know. I thought that was the shit. I was like, yeah, I'm in there. I'm in like Flynn, you know, because I was one of those kids that was, I'm an only child. I was molested from 7 years old to 14 years of age by my stepfather. And I never had any friends, you know. I was always, you know, what is that word I'm looking for? You know, sheltered. You know, my mom always had me under her, or my stepfather always had me under him, you know, if you know what I mean. Way under. But I never had friends. I could never socialize, you know. And it's like when I did drugs, it was like, hey, I'm cool. Superwoman, you know, Superwoman, Superman, underdog, all of them above, you know. And I was in there. I had it going on and stuff. And that's when I became more outspoken because I was shy. You know, I was real shy. I was like this. Nope. Yes, sir. Like a bookworm. Now I'm like, hey. But I don't know if that's the drugs or boy. I mean, it was just there all along. I just didn't know what to do with it, you know. But now that I'm clean, I'm outspoken and I love it, you know, and I can speak my mind on things and still have compassion for other people's feelings, you know. When back in the day, I didn't care about your feelings, put them in your pocket, sit them on the shelf until I finish what I have to say. Then you can feel what I'm telling you, you know. And today it's like God has really blessed me, you know, to be able to afford to come to a convention, to have a job to come, you know. So I don't know how young you are in recovery, you know, and, you know, just you can keep coming back, but most importantly, stay, you know. And then when you stay, you just ain't nobody gonna let you go, you know what I mean? You know, because it took a lot of hands to hold on to me. You know, I mean, I had hands, I'm like, grab me by the hair, somebody take a foot, a toe here, you know, just don't let me go. I mean, I called my sponsor 3 o'clock in the morning just to get out I stay in the projects and all they do is sell dope, you know. And I'm like, come pick me up, come pick me up. Come picks me up, right? I was like, you know, I cried for a few minutes. He was taking me back to his house just to talk with his mom or whatever. I was like, I'm ready to go home. You know, he was like, what's wrong with you? Man, I got problems. I want to go home. You know, he took me back home. It's like, you know, I guess I had to do that just to make sure I stayed clean. That's how bad I wanted to stay clean. Because I used from the age of 11 to 25 years of age, you know. And in all that time, I shot dope, I drank dope, I smoked dope, I ate dope. It was dope in the bread, I ate it, you know. You know, put some dope on some clothes. If it was chewable, I would chew it, you know, simple as that. You know, but I thank God for bringing me where I'm at now, you know. Denial, I still go through it, you know, on a day-to-day basis sometimes, you know. But I learned to accept things for what they are, you know. If I can change it, I will. You know, if I can't, boom, I pray on it, then it's not my problem anymore, you know. And I also have this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to shut up. I know I'm taking a lot of time, but I got a lot to say. I've been trying to say something all day, you know. I never could get a chance to. But at home, I have an altar, right? This is how, you know, they say let go. People say let go and let God, but they don't tell you how, you know. This is how I let go. I have this altar, you know, have little candles on each side of the altar, flower, you know, in the vase and stuff, you know, and I have a God bag right above my altar, right in the center. So I have a folder, you know, I'm having a problem, I need to just let it go, or I can't find anybody I want to talk to about it, you know, or I can really trust to talk to about it. I write it down, you know, and my Bible sits on my altar too, and I open it up and I pray upon it, you know, and I asked God to help me with it. I fold it up nice and neat, you know, I date it and everything, you know, and stick it in my God bag. Once I stick it in that bag, it ain't mine no more. I gave it to God. He can have it, do with it what he will. Just, I don't want it. If I start worrying about it again, that's when I just pick that problem right back up, you know. So I just like, oh, don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Have faith, you know. And I have faith in God because I know he's my recovery. You know, he's my recovery. He's everything he's all that brought me here, you know. And, I mean, I may not look like I'm spiritual fit, but what does spiritually fit look like? You know? I'm supposed to walk around in a white robe and angel wings, you know. I am a very spiritual person, and I do believe in my higher power to the utmost, you know. And I know I can't do anything without him. And for me, I mean, hey, I had people judge me, talk about me. Girl, you don't need to dress like that. You don't need to talk like that. You need to just change your whole attitude, you know. I take suggestions. I've calmed down. I changed some of my dressing and some of my attitudes. But it's like, if I keep changing for everybody else, what am I going to do for me? Who am I going to be? You know, I have to find my own identity just like everybody else had to, you know. Because you've been here longer than me does not make you unique. You're just special. And I'm just right on the board. I'm just special too. So we like, you're not up here and I'm not down there. We're right here. You know, either be together with me or just leave me the hell alone. As simple as that, you know. I like to think, I'm glad to be here. You know, this is beautiful. I'm having a good time. I just released some steam. And usually when I release and let things go, right, my ears get warm. And they warm. Ooh, and they're real hot. I'm feeling real good right now, and I like to thank all y'all for, I mean, just visiting Jersey. I have friends from Jersey. I've never been here, and I'm like, I travel, you know, traveling girl. Never been nowhere, but I traveled here for a full weekend, and it just feels good to know that I am able to, you know. And with all y'all, I can say honestly, though I don't know none of y'all, I love you, and I can say that with honesty today, you know. And look in your eyes. If you want me to look through your eyes to the back of your head, I can do that too, you know. If you don't want me to look in your eyes, I'll look at your feet. I love you, and I don't care who you are, and I thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
We're out of time.
Oh, I thought I wasn't there.
On behalf of the convention, could you help me to thank Tony for carrying God's message? And someone please read just for today.
It's me. I am back. My name is Ann. I'm resuscitated.
Yeah.
Just for today, tell yourself. Just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using, who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. Just for today.
Do you have a nice way of closing?